Welcome guys, Stephen here, and today I'm talking about Netflix's new dystopian show, Black Knight. The whole series has just dropped onto our screens, but I'm going to be talking about episode 1 right now. The new sci-fi series set in a dystopian world where the land is barren and the violence is rife kind of reminds me a bit of like Mad Max, but an Asian version. It's set in a world suffering with heavy pollution, and only a chosen few are given the right to be in the protected area, with the rest having to fend for themselves outside of the compound. There's only one way to gain residency, and that's to become one of the Black Knights, also known as delivery men.
Alright! I'm a delivery boy!
Our story follows a young man called Yoon Seo-wal, played by Kang Yo-seok, as he dreams of becoming a Black Knight. In an unfortunate twist of events, he gets to meet his hero and the famous delivery man, 5'8", played by Kim Woo-bin. With a new protected area about to open and strange dealings afoot, how will our two unlikely protagonists be affected by the new upcoming events? The first episode was great, jam-packed with action, plenty of backstory, but condensed in such a way that made it really digestible. Straight out the bat, I'd give this a 7 out of 10, based on the first episode alone. Do you want to know why? Let's dive right in, and as always, spoilers ahead. The episode starts with a lovely detailed backstory, highlighting how humanity, now suffering with air pollution, it started with a comet hitting the Earth, leaving only 1% of the population alive. This 1% now have new tech and a new social order, broken down into 3 groups, assigned by QR codes. We have the general section made up of your everyday people, the special section made up of those more middle class, worker people, and finally the core section, made up of elites, and with everyone else left outside, now known as refugees. This take on a dystopian future was brilliant, cleverly plays on current hierarchical systems we have in play today, but making modern day problems such as crime and poverty even more extreme, with the removal of hands being the key to the dream life. We now focus on our new character 5'8", who is a famous delivery guy and seems to be carrying out a secret agenda as he sets out to investigate the construction of a new district. On the flip side, we have Seo-wal, a young refugee secretly living in the residential area, who dreams of being able to help those less fortunate than him and desperately trying to become a delivery man. I love the fact we get to see a fight scene from both of these men just to show you the difference in their skill. Although Seo-wal wins his bout, the events are chaotic and he seems to have a lot of luck on his side, doing whatever he can to take down his foes. On the flip side, 5'8's conflict seems effortless. He almost knows of the criminals. He's able to dispatch them effortlessly. And the scene where he takes a man off a motorcycle with a baseball bat is absolute carnage. And that's the kind of violence I look forward to in these shows. Even down to the final scene where he pulls the trigger and it just clicks because it's not loaded, saying to the bloke, next time it will be. I think the producers did really well here just to show you how big of a dream it is to become a delivery man. Showing us all that although Seo-wal is actually really good at combat, he's miles away from being able to be as good as 5'8". Finally, their paths cross as Seo-wal and his friends attempt to become hunters for a moment and hijacking 5'8's vehicle. But with a few clever manoeuvres and some well-placed electrics, his friends are quickly incapacitated. And 5'8 and Seo-wal become frenemies. Later on, 5'8 heads back from a failed mission of researching the new facility and helps a young girl, showing us his caring nature and that behind the lethal fighter is someone who truly is trying to make a difference. Seo-wal, on the other hand, desperately tries to please himself and never follows the rules even for a moment. This eventually causing him to be locked up when his adopted sister needs him the most. As rogue delivery men break into the building and attempt to take her hand, he is finally able to free himself. And then the craziness is dialed up to 10 as bullets start to fly everywhere, with Seo-wal once again having these chaotic movements where he smashes into people and just throws people around before finally taking out all of the rogues. As he then goes to help his sister, he sees she's being shot, and right as you think he's about to go and get her help, we get our final twist in the dying moment of the show as Seo-wal is shot in the back of the head. This scene alone left me on the edge of my seat, gripped, wanting more. But now I had to stop for you guys just to give you my feedback. Firstly, let's start with some theories. Not a lot of story actually happened, so my theories are a little bit up in the air at the moment, just trying to piece things together. Seo-wal is most certainly not dead. If you watch the episode when he's shot in the back of the head, there's no exit wound, implying that the bullet either ricocheted off his skull, went to the side, or just some other way where clearly he's not dead. There's no way they would introduce this new protagonist to then kill him instantly. But I guess the thing I want to know is, how did he survive being shot in the back of the head? As someone else was the shot we saw actually someone else shooting the guy behind him? Who knows? And secondly, Sector 5 is some kind of air purifying concept. They mention air core as we go through it, and obviously core is the place where the elitists are. So I wonder if actually Sector 5 is going to be some new technology where they're able to purify the air. Because if we look back at the episode, the specials and the core sections of the building are underground. So although they look lit and like they're daylight, they're actually living underground. So I believe Sector 5 is actually this new tech that helps to purify the air, and all the elitists are going to be moving there. But rather than them actually trying to use that tech to help the refugees, they're just going to keep it to themselves. Thus, 5/8 is trying to investigate it to figure out what this tech is, to actually go and help the people. As we've seen him do in those previous scenes, he wants to help people. So I think that's what Sector 5 is all about. Overall, the show was very good, and although the story now seems to be one of many in this dystopian future genre, I think the team have done very well. The visual effects and fight choreography was brilliant, and the team behind the visual effects studio, which is Westworld, actually did the visual effects for Squid Games as well as All of Us Are Dead. So although I've already given you my score of 7 out of 10, should you watch it? Absolutely. It had action, suspense, crazy fight scenes, including Salwell using a human as a shield, running against bullets. And now, although even in reality he probably would have been killed by then, I love to see these crazy adaptations of these things that were happening in these Korean movies where they take it over the top. And finally, with only 6 episodes, it's so easy to binge. That's almost a couple of days of watching. Great little show to pick up, and I think it's definitely worth watching. Now, you're thinking, I've said all these nice things, but it's only a 7 out of 10. Why have I given that score? Had the show given us more information about who the bad guys are, in a sense, then my score would have been higher. But at the moment, I'm not actually sure what the story is. I assume if Salwell isn't dead, he's going to try and find who killed his family, who killed his sister, and get back to them. But other than that, I don't actually know 5/8 story. So had they filled this in a little bit more with what's going on, I think my score would have potentially been higher. Even so, what I've seen in episode 1 was enough to get me hooked, and that cliffhanger at the end, whoa, I love a cliffhanger to get me into an episode 2. Right, I'm off to watch episode 2 right now. Don't forget to subscribe, as we'll soon be dropping our ending explained for Black Knight. Let us know in the comments what you thought of episode 1, and will you be continuing to watch it? Finally, if you like this dystopian future thing, check out Silo up here. We've done a recap and review of episode 1. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll catch you next week with something new.